gave me the wrong answer yesterday with respect to the worst day, or the best day, excuse me, on these markets. Randy, you want to grab that mic? I have stuff to talk to you about. Oh, there you go. Nice. There you go. Even better.
Even better.
Because the Europeans are starting to speak to the Chinese about removing some of these tariffs on Chinese EVs. So, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So to speak. Yeah, oh boy is right, Randy. So we want to get your take, baby.
Yeah, what does that mean? Because Tesla EV sales have been on the rapid decline in the EU. So what is that going to do for the likes of some of these Chinese?
Well, that's going to be freaking
right?
So, yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, for them.
Hi, Randy. How's that sandwich, by the way? Because the food from the new caterer looks just freaking tastic.
I've only had one bite.
You see all the desserts back there?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. When did we get desserts for lunch? That was always something.
I don't eat dessert, but
they're nice to look at. Is that pastrami? What do you got there, baby?
Yeah,
yeah?
Montreal smoked meat. I don't know.
Montreal. Well, that's what Sean said because he gets the email. So, Randy.
Yeah.
We heard the Americans complain that the Chinese were subsidizing their EV sector, what they said was illegally. The Europeans had the same complaint. They said, you guys are building out the infrastructure for them, you're refining the raw materials, you're doing everything that the private market, the business market should be doing. So how bad is it now between the Americans and the Europeans that the Europeans would look for the Chinese?
Let's back up a little bit.
Go.
China is not the only country that's helping their own state-owned and not state-owned,
agree 100%,
semi-privately owned car companies.
Canada
Here in Canada,
yep.
we do the same. Okay?
Absolutely.
We've invested in our car companies, in our suppliers,
exactly,
in the workforce, and in the resource sectors that are supplying these products and the companies that make them.
Yes, agree 100%.
Okay? So the retaliatory tariffs, it's kind of going both ways. I don't necessarily agree with it, okay? And the Europeans can complain all they want.
I agree.
But the auto industry is a global, very global industry. So you've got resources that some countries have, some don't.
Exactly.
You've got cheaper labor in countries like China.
Exactly.
That we don't.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you're producing environmental regulations.
Yep.
You're also producing products globally. They may not sell globally. They may sell more in one country, but not others.
Fair.
Like large, huge Hummers. How many of those are you going to see in Europe?
Yeah, not
that many.
They don't even like them legal there. They think they're dangerous.
Right. So because you've got some car companies, the Europeans, for example, with a global portfolio, your BMWs, your Volkswagens.
Yep.
You also have other companies that have a global portfolio, but the models don't sell everywhere.
Fair.
So you've got to be able to discern. That's a good sandwich.
Yeah.
You got to be able to discern not only where you're selling your products, where you're producing the products,
I'll put your sandwich
but you're caught. There we go. This guy.
There you go. You're getting first-class service from Katina Man over here.
The segment is called Keeping It Real with Randy.
Keeping It Real with Randy. Mark that down, boys. We got a new segment now. Go ahead.
If you can't sell your Hummer in Norway, for example, but you want to produce it in the U.S., if you're going to produce cars in China with cheaper labor and be able to make more money, okay, I'll go into Europe.
Okay.
I'll build my plant in Europe. I will employ a local labor force.
Okay.
But use my natural resources.
Agree.
Okay.
Okay.
So
now you're talking.
This is where the globalization comes in.
I see what you're saying.
So the tariffs in this case are in my opinion, destructive. Okay. It's counterintuitive because you reduce the globalization of the company producing the products and where they sell them.
Let me ask you a question. Can we create these trading blocks where, like, say, for example, I know a lot of the raw materials for cobalt lithium that comes from China, and they wanted to put an export ban on that to the United States as part of the tariff negotiations. Say Sudbury, and we get our act together in Canada, and we start extracting the lithium and the cobalt from Sudbury that we're supposed to be extracting, that we still haven't, by the way. Then can we have, like, a secure supply chain from certain friendlier countries, tariff-friendly countries, and then kind of strong arm our way with some others? You know what I mean? You
can, but it's also supply and demand.
Yeah, fair.
So we need to develop our supply, number one. We need to get it in circulation and make it. We don't have it developed as it could be. And there are other nations that already have that. You know, there's mines in South Africa and elsewhere. So if we want to compete with them, there's a cost to compete, number one. That cost, labor cost, the actual cost to get the resources out of the ground and get them into EVs and other products, what does that cost?
Well, exactly.
And does it cost more here than it does over there?
It does.
So you've got to weigh that cost and look at the globalization of the resources that go into the products that you want to sell. And then where are you going to sell them? And who's going to produce them and at what cost? So labor has typically been cheaper outside North America.
Yeah,
but
of course, yeah.
Resources, not necessarily. Resources are a global
But the extraction, but you know how it is with the environment and the environmental impact assessments. You got to pay people more. It's like a whole thing, right? Like, what's going on? Okay, I was like, what's happening over there? So I just found it to be interesting. Like, I didn't think that the Europeans would become closer with the Chinese as a result of the antagonism from the Americans. I just didn't think that that would be the case.
They're being protective of the European auto industry, and I get that. There's hundreds of thousands employed all over Europe in the auto sector. It's actually almost bigger than it is here in the U.S.
I bet.
There's a huge number of car companies over there.
Dude, like
huge population. So do you not want to protect that industry? Of course
they do. They 100%.
But at the same time, global competition is what it is. Only the best are going to survive. So
it's fair to say that
only the cheapest are going to survive, I think.
Say that again, Joseph?
Only the cheapest
will
survive, I think.
No, not necessarily.
So to be fair, so you're kind of the globalist a little bit, right? And when it comes to the car sector.
If you are Toyota or Volkswagen or Tesla and you want to survive globally and sell your cars everywhere on the planet, you have to take on a macroeconomic global lens.
That's fair.
You've got to be able to source and produce and employ worldwide.
Fair.
And again, some models won't sell in some countries, some will. But you have to step back and look at the bigger picture. I think that's key. And this is where, again, I find the tariffs to be counterintuitive. Global trade has always been a thing. Yes, there's higher and lower costs and resources,
but it's been a thing
labor.
from the 50s,
it has.
dude. Like when North America, when the United States and Canada signed that deal with Eisenhower to have a lot of the components built in Southern Ontario mostly and sent to the States, and that was way before NAFTA. Way before NAFTA was even conceived. So that's existed for a long time to build on your point.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, well, interesting.
So I think it's counterintuitive.
I feel it. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
And giving us your opinion.
Enjoy the sandy there, brother.
Yeah, man. It looks like a hell of a sandwich there, brother.
Enjoy the sandy.
All right, guys. You got it from the man himself, Randy, a midday version of Randy's Rants. Or I don't know what the Katina man called it. He called it something over there. Keeping it real with Randy. And now we're going to keep it real with Adara.
With Ribby and Randy.
Thank you for that transition there, Sharif. And thank you to Randy. We have some comments coming out here. Apparently, there were some conversations between the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, and the President of the European Commission, von der Leyen. Apparently, they discussed the imposition of tariffs, and they both said they welcome enhancing the Canada and Europe defense against these tariffs. They also apparently talked about the further risk of U.S. action. So some tariff talk specifically on the defensive side and defending themselves for further action coming through here from Mark Carney and the President of the European Commission. Excuse me, back to you.
If we can pull up my chart here. So we got back in on that long here on TSLL. Starting to get that pop here in the market. Still holding on to the majority of this position. Let's see if we can go and tap into around $8.20. That's kind of going to be the rough area that I'm going to be looking at. That will be a new failed high, so a lower high right here, guys, if we can get into 820. And if you can see that momentum and the volume really start to step in, then maybe we'll be able to breach that. But I think it's going to be more of a slow grind here today, Sharif, because we are still down a little bit, under 10% on Tesla itself. So not too good of a look on Tesla. IBIT's holding up relatively well. I was looking to trade that to the short side earlier, but it's just not breaking down. So again, for Bitcoin in the crypto space, that's a positive no. SPY and Q's relatively just moving sideways from that bottoming signal that we had earlier in the day. So just trading within this 509 range, 522. Like, that's actually insane.
What?
The how much the average true range has expanded, Sharif. Because the low here is 509 and the high being 525. So that's like 16 points just right there. You never see that in just lower volatility markets here on the SPY. Lower volatility markets, you're lucky to get a 3-4 point move. But here, the market's just moving with a high of 534 all the way down to 509. So yeah, you can see the VIX was elevated slightly this morning, and the average true range in these names just gone through the roof, and that's why I got gambled yesterday, is because you just seen that vastly pick up here. So we'll wait and see what's going on. Let's get this going here. I do believe that we can. I believe that we can break through some of these zones and head towards here. But again, the overall sentiment is so weak that it's just like fade the pop, and then you get this move all the way back here. You end up breaking through this support level and then making a new low. But one thing that got me back in this long is the construction of this higher low. That's a positive note. Let's see if we can get punt through 805 to 810 there. Sharif, what's going on?
New traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. Trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience. You'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully after all that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. Yeah, and you can predict better with their great backtesting tool. Reliable real-time data, global markets literally at your fingertips. Of course, you got to use a keyboard. All in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready. Elevate your trading. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at eSignal. And if you haven't seen it already, I've been using eSignal for a minute. The Katina man's been using it for a century, and Adara has it up on the big desk there. I've been seeing it. She's got the white she's got the white settings. I've got the black ones over here, but they're all very robust. And if you haven't used a good platform, eSignal is one of those ones. Adara, the market's moving again. What's happening?
Yeah, we have some talks here coming from, now I guess it's the question part of Q&A part of this cabinet meeting. Donald Trump was asked about the stock market's move today. When asked if he's seen the drop, he said, quote, "I haven't seen it. I've been in a meeting for the last however many hours." Then also it's worth noting that Scott Bessent, he basically pushed the question about tariffs to Scott Bessent, who is the Treasury Secretary. And Scott Bessent said they will have great certainty on tariffs in 90 days. Trump also continued to say that he would love to get a deal with China. So some tariff talk and talk about the stock market coming through from Trump and his cabinet at the Q&A portion of this meeting. And back to you.
I just got an email from the condo board at my condo, obviously.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs that live in my condo have approved a one electric vehicle charging station.
Bang.
I'm buying a lottery ticket today, bro. I mean, oh my goodness.
So how do you guys find out who gets it there? Is the arm wrestle?
Yeah, or like our first come, first serve, I don't know, or maybe a sign-up sheet, some sort or another.
You got them beat on the foot race there, too.
There's nobody with an EV in my condo.
Right.
What I want to see is like how much you're going to add to the condo fee for that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don't get me started. There's two things I hate the most. Two bills
fees?
I hate the most. Insurance and my condo fees. I get no equity from any of them.
You don't like insurance? I mean, it's not a bad thing, man. Come on, man. When do you give me that look? Everybody likes a little insurance here and there. No?
All right, let me show you how much I'm paying. Maybe we'll talk after that.
Hey, you drive the V8, not me. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's getting older. Why is my premium going up?
Yeah, but I would love to know how you drive, actually.
I'm actually a grandma, and I've got the driving app. I told you I got the driving app.
Dude,
yeah, I got the driving app.
Why isn't your insurance lower?
Because of the theft. They steal them, that's why. And the excellent politicians in Canada don't let anybody out on bail when they're supposed to be out on bail. Everybody is kept in order. There's no excessive crime. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about this country. Everything is being run very well. So shout out to the
thing that frustrates me about condo fees is that there's essentially no cap. There's no cap.
Fabian leaves his car unlocked all the time. He has no issues.
Where do you live, Fabian?
I don't know, bro. North York. Yeah, we both live in the same area, Fabian. So I don't know why my car.
Midtown.
Yeah.
Oh, Midtown. That's why they're not.
It doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. I don't want to be paying through the nose.
So they're just going past your car and looking
my grandma was a terrible driver.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Who said this? Nekoshe or whatever. My grandma was a terrible driver. Yeah. I was just let out for the 25th time. Thanks for paying my $3 bail. You're welcome, Jack W. Anything for the excellent societal contributors. No doubt about it. We are always willing to help you out. Don't worry. Don't worry. The revolving door is not going anywhere. You'll be able to commit crimes and then come back out. It's not going to be a problem. Take it easy.
Do they lift your condo fees each year, 5 or 10%?
Nah, we're at 3. We're at market
3?
rate.
Okay,
Yeah.
3%. It's crazy how there's no cap on them.
There's crime in Canada, says Dragos? Yeah, there is. Toronto's got about 6.5 million people that live in the GTA, the greater Toronto area. And so that's like basically like saying the size of Chicago, maybe a little bit smaller than Chicago, but basically kind of like a Chicago-style city, so you can get the idea there. Right? We have that kind of society. So.
Oh, I don't think the crime compares though to
Chicago. No, murder. They got next level gang.
We got.
But we have a lot of crime.
We have a lot.
Substantial amount of crime. Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of crime.
A lot of white collar crime as well. To be fair,
and 40% of it happens on the TTC. So just watch out. Don't It doesn't, obviously.
Guys, we're moving a little bit back here on this market. It's by no means like with the same vigor that we were moving down, but you've got the likes of, Apple now knocking on the door twice of the volume weighted average price. You had an attempt over here, and now we're getting a second attempt. What's catching my attention, though, Joseph, is the higher lows. And that's what I look for trend change. We're getting umpteen amount of higher lows, still being kept down here by a lot of the resistance levels. You're seeing a very similar look on all the Mag 7 names. I mean, if I showed you these charts, you probably wouldn't be able to tell who was who just based on the look of the chart if I didn't have the ticker there, including the futures, which is on the top right corner. A lot of market, harmony today, where everything is kind of moving in very similar fashion. So we'll keep an eye out on that, but it does feel like the market maybe catching a bit of a dead cat bounce over here as Apple tries to work back into 189. The volume weighted average price just a skosh, Joseph, below that 190 area.
Yeah. So we just took some more off here on Tesla, starting to climb higher. Still have about 33% of this position remaining. We'll just slowly take it out, but working out to be somewhat of a nice trade. Normal special. Yeah, there is definitely gun violence in Toronto and Canada. There's no question.
Oh God, yeah, and all the guns come from the States.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the illegal guns come from.
And how much? And the percentage of crimes committed with illegal guns is like 80-85%. So about 15% are legal guns.
So that's why we tell the rightful gun owners that they can't own guns.
Of course, Joseph, it makes sense. Don't question the government, Joseph.
And we give the guys who are just illegal a little slap on the wrist.
Neil's laugh.
So if you want to go about the right ways of doing things, you're better off almost doing it criminally because
I just spit, bro. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't care. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. There is primal passion. There's a lot as well. There's a lot of gangs. There's a lot of violence. But what is violent here?
What?
Going to the top side.
I'm telling you, Joseph. I smelled something over here, and it wasn't that sandwich that Randy brought. No, I mean
we're moving higher.
What an aggressive move.
There we go. We're continuing.
Yo, we're dropping aggressively. So, wow, Apple. Something's going on with Apple here, guys.
It's dropping.
This is an aggressive move. We just touched VWAP at 189.90. We dropped into 186, defended 186, and now we're back into 187.5. So there's a lot of aggressive movement right now on Apple, and I have no idea what's going on. If it's Apple specific or market specific, I'm not getting any information on my blotter here about Apple. So we'll keep an eye out on this. So guys, let me know if you guys see anything here with respect to Apple, but that was a $3 move, a very aggressive move there, but popping right back up. Adara has something for us. Go ahead, Adara.
Donald Trump said that he is not considering right now any exemptions for any country or company for tariffs. That seems to be what dropped Apple. We know Apple did get somewhat of an exemption during his last administration, Trump's last administration, for tariffs. But Donald Trump saying that they're very close to their first tariff deal. No countries or companies are going to be getting any exemptions at this time. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Very important news there, obviously, because if an exemption for Apple is not in the works, it's not good for margins. It's not good for prices. Nope. It's not good for anything. And we've made the point before that Apple was able to secure an exemption in Trump 1.0, but it feels a little different this time. Trump 2.0 is not Trump 1.0. So we'll have to see whether or not they're able to weasel exemption. We have 3 topping tail candles on Apple, all into the volume weighted average price. Each and every one has rejected. There's 4 technically, but there's one that manifested at 1, 3 back to back over here, Joseph, all touching the volume weighted average price, all rejecting. But what I'm keeping my eye on was this candle here. I'm assuming that that's what that reaction was, that candle that touched essentially, Joseph, 189.67, dropped into 186 quick as you like, and has basically no body on the candle.
Okay.
So we'll see how this ends up going, but multiple rejections off the volume weighted average price. Go ahead.
Let's go here, Sharif. Hit the siren there. We got everything rolling here on Tesla, waiting for those pops, man. Those bottoming signals were absolutely beautiful. Let's go. We got my chart up. You guys can see what we had cooking up. I was about to take an IBIT long. Scratch that. I said, Joe, stick to what is working for you. And we took that second entry. Prime money entry here on TSLL, guys. Getting that move up. You can see that we were in this at first. Still held through. I was thinking I should have took some more off. Get stopped out right here. But what do? We hop right back in. It's a beautiful thing when these trades start to work. Partial, 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 and 2 more of those. So really good look here on Tesla. I mentioned that we could get to this pivot high, and you can see us starting to reject it now. So that was the trade here on Tesla. Sorry, firearm mass rate is 8 times an alien here. Gunshots. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Hypercube. It is really an unfortunate thing, but you also have to take into consideration that the States is 10 times larger than we are as well, too, right? So, but yeah, again, that's not an environment you want to grow up in, and I apologize for that. But here we go. The environment that we do want to be in right now is the one that you're currently sitting in there, Hypercube. That is Trader TV Live. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe here, guys.
Like and subscribe.
Because we have how many?
Unlimited upside.
How many?
6,600 of you guys watching us. Let's get those likes up.
Hey.
How many of you guys touch that like? I'm going to refresh that and see how many likes we are, but we're going to need to double, triple that, whatever it may be. I want at least as many people, half as many people that are watching us right now. 762. Get those likes up. Let's hit that 4K or that 1K, at least 4 digits. That's what we need. We're continuing to climb here in Tesla. Now slightly rejecting the volume weighted average price. We only have a little bit off, about 10-15%.
Nice trade,
we're going to hold that off for the dream, but there you go. That's why you take those multiple entries because eventually they will pay off.
KC France saying, look, bro, they're just squeezing the triple Qs back into VWAP so they can tank it down, whereas QQQ is racing to VWAP for liquidity so it can reverse. It didn't even wait for VWAP. My man, this is the NQ June contract. Where's my ticker there? Well, I'll have to throw it in again. This is the volume weighted average price at around 18,550, and it looks like we rejected 18.5, but most notably, Casey, I don't know how you feel about this. The higher low situation is still in play. So we're still putting in those higher lows, even though I don't know how you feel, but we're still being kept down by the selling pressure. And you can see that through the topping tail candles, whether it's on the futures or an Apple or any other Mag 7 name. A lot of weakness here to be expected going into the afternoon. Donald Trump is still live, guys. Okay, he's still live right now with his cabinet. He's doing it live. That stream is 2 minutes behind, but I've got a stream over here. Joseph, what do you got?
We got it. We hit the 1K, guys. Perfect. Thank you very much. 1,000 likes, 6,700 of us working, of you guys watching us here. Welcome to joining Trading Live, real shares. This is as real as it gets, trading these volatile markets with Donald Trump. Let's see what Adaira's got to the best on the news desk.
More tariff questions here coming at President Donald Trump during the Q&A portion, I guess, of this cabinet meeting. He said that he's going to be viewing tariffs most likely on a country-by-country basis, but he did say that he's going to be looking at the EU as one block for tariffs. So I guess one specific tariff for the EU is what he's considering, though he did say he would prefer that tailored tariffs for different countries. As mentioned earlier, Apple had a little bit of a drop when he said he's not considering any exemptions for any countries or companies at this time. Back to you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. So thank you, Wall Street Wanderer. 3 rising valleys on SPY. Yeah, for sure. And just to note, guys, when you put something in the chat or you super chat or anything like that, thank you very much for those. But also just add the time frame that you would like us to look at, so we have a better idea and we can give you more details. So thank you again, Wall Street Wonder. Very much appreciative. And did we go over? Okay, Nimrod, our guy, gifted 5 Trader TV. memberships, Trader TV Live memberships. This guy, I don't know. This guy's at the top of his class for gifting memberships. Thank you very much, Nimrod. 3 rising values. Unfortunately, I don't remember every single price action print. That's why I need to know the time frame. Are you familiar with that pattern there, Sharif?
I'm just listening to Donald, brother.
Okay, so 3 rising values. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Just going to be frank with you guys, I don't remember exactly how that pattern is, so I don't want to mislead you or anything along those lines. We're going off to Adara. We're going to take some more off here.
Boom! We're long Apple.
Ex-U.S. Steel dropping here to the downside. Asked here about the Nippon Steel deal, Donald Trump said that he doesn't even know why they even need a deal due to tariffs, because they're going to do very well with tariffs. So Trump here answering this question about U.S. Steel in a bit of an interesting way, saying that they'll do well because of tariffs, and he's not even sure they need a deal at this time. Back to you.
Hit it, bro.
Man, I don't have it, man.
I'm freaking out today, Joe. Bro, you have no idea. Woosah is right. Yes. Insanity Now, or sorry, what's it called? This, I know you love Seinfeld, so I know you're going to help me out with this. Yeah, of course. What is it? Serenity Now, Insanity Later.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because he used to say Serenity Now to himself.
Who said that, Jerry?
What's that guy's name? He was like George's nemesis growing up, and his mom liked him better. Goodness gracious, what the hell is that guy's name? Chat, help me out, man. What's that guy's name? Go ahead.
No, sorry.
Serenity Now. Okay, it's a little delayed, right? What the hell is the dude's name? He's like George's like nemesis. And he dated Elaine, and then
George's dad?
No, it's not George's dad. They're the dude who you grew up with George. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
There was a plane crash, Darwin. Are you serious?
Lloyd Braun.
Lloyd Braun. Thank you, VWAP Sandy. Thank you, VWAP Sandy. No, Newman is Jerry's nemesis. Yeah. I'm talking about George's nemesis growing up. Lloyd Braun. He went. I can't say this because it's not correct.
I know you know who Victor Newman is.
No.
You don't know Victor Newman? No. Are you sure?
I may.
What, Young and Restless?
No, bro, I never watched that. My grandma watched that. She was babysitting me. Like, so but I didn't know the name.
That guy was my favorite guy.
I didn't know the name.
I thought he was like kind of the modern day Harvey Specter or whatever.
Was he?
Yeah, I liked Victor.
I like that.
He was a good guy. But Sharif, here we go.
Ahead, Joseph.
We got a couple questions in the chat. They said, someone asked me, Joseph, have I ever laid awake at night because of the markets? Only one time that ever happened to me, and that was earlier in my trading career when I first started. I bag held a bunch of SPY shorts for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking. I was overly heavy, and I was just refusing to let go of the position, so that kept me up late. And then come 4 a.m., as soon as that market opened up and it gapped down, I just closed the position right at 4 a.m. So that kept me up. But yeah, that kept me up. Other than that, no, I sleep pretty well these days. I most definitely sleep like a baby because I can't let these markets get you doing that stuff. Otherwise, you will.
What's the point of having money if you don't have the mental there,
exactly,
bro?
Right? So again, don't let it keep you up at night. You'll build the tolerance for it, whether you're swinging or anything along those lines. But if you're just day trading, then you can get out of your positions. And the only time I suggest, like if you're going to swing something from a day trading standpoint, like you've entered a position earlier in the day and you just have an abundance of shares, and then you're just, okay, let me ride this throughout the day. And then the next day you're just, okay, let me hold on to X amount to see if that can continue. And that's the only time I would ever personally hold a day trade.
Absolutely. Just Donald Trump is talking about steel, tariffs, pharmaceuticals. He's talking about the gamut of different issues. We're going to be covering that all for you. I'm listening to him speak at the moment. We'll report to you guys on that. I'm back in Apple over here. We took $1 on Apple and we're nicely 50 pennies in the money again here on the dead one as it clears VWAP, Katina, man. Apple's above 190. Let's go a little bit more, Apple. Don't come back down. So I'm going to stop out if it breaks 190. I'm looking for a bigger move up. Here we go again. Now we're at 190 and 2/3. If we can get 75s, that's what we'll be waiting. So I'll just go ahead and throw that on there so I don't have to make the decision. Here we